Talking About My Generation, the podcast with Lee Scriven and Dell Bromham.
Welcome to another fine edition of Talking About My Generation. Hi Dell, and a special guest, got a name like a rock star, I reckon. Colin Kempster. That sounds like a proper rock star, doesn't it?
Hello.
Yeah, from Stray, and a brilliant bass player and a brilliant alright geezer, if you get my drift. You two in Stray, you had a good weekend, I understand, playing at a festival. Tell the listeners all about it.
We did. We played at the Nene Valley Rock Festival.
Nice.
In a lovely place, Grimsthorpe Castle, but it looks like Downton Abbey.
Nice.
That's what it looks like, but it's really well organised, and we had a great time. Colin, would you like to tell the audience a little bit about the weekend? Anything you want to add to that?
Well, we had some competition in that there was another tent with two stages in it, which was like the main tent.
Okay.
And apparently there was a bit of a vibe going on there. But despite that, we packed our tent out, spilling out into the field as well.
Apparently they couldn't get them all in our tent. They were dancing outside, so that was a result.
We had a great sound, I thought. Great sound on stage. The audience were terrific, weren't they?
Yeah.
And I didn't make any mistakes that I can think of.
Colin Kempster making a mistake.
Which makes a change.
It doesn't happen. Bass players don't make mistakes. It's always someone else.
He's all right. He's Mr. Reliable. I like him.
Some of the new stuff. Do you always play the new stuff when you're on the road on these couple of gigs, or do you stick it to the?
No, we play some new stuff. We played a couple of tracks off the new album, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, it's got to that point with. I loosely say we've almost become our own tribute band because we've been around so long now, and it's funny because after about 12 albums and all that sort of thing, and various solo albums, you cannot please everybody. You know, you think, and also. With festivals, you do a shorter set, you know. Because I mean, I've jokingly said, you know, I'll give Bruce Springsteen a run for his money, you know, and I have done those 3-hour sets as well in time. But I mean, you get now to a point where the last set we did, as Colin says, we put in a couple of new ones from the About Time album and songs going right back to the first album and in between, as many as you can do, and you can try your hardest. Even when we did the Stables back last year. We're doing that again next year, by the way, February.
Yeah, looking forward to
2026.
Yeah.
We did like a long show on that one, a couple of hours, and even then,
still.
Oh, but you didn't do
that.
You say you can't please them all.
Didn't do that B-side on it. Yeah, good. Oh, you just said about the sound there, Colin. In recent years, and you, Dell, I've been started going to a lot of gigs more now. I'm not doing the football so much, and over the last couple of years, I've got to say, sound at venues and especially at festivals have got a lot better. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean the thing for us is that we don't get to hear the out front sound.
No.
So we don't really know what the audience is hearing unless they tell us. But certainly technology, monitoring and stuff has come on leaps and bounds. So on stage, sound's usually pretty good. I mean, the guys who do these festivals are dyed-in-the-wool sound engineers. They know what they're doing.
Really good. I mean, a lot of them have iPads on stage and all that now, don't they?
And,
that's right.
Sometimes we don't even get a sound check. We'll just get a level check and
just go on.
I've started using in-ears, mainly for the bass. But if I've got time to have a full setup, then I'll have a full mix in. But other than that, I'll just have the bass in and rely on the stage monitors for the vocals.
I mean, there was a time, Dell, and I'm sure you'll agree. I mean, especially in the band I was in, Blues Collective, we just had to have our own sound engineer, you know, and who was part of the band really. And I would say now, if I was going on the road, I'd be a little bit more confident that actually, if you can't make it, we'll be okay, kind of thing. Would you?
Yeah, well, we do we do have a standby, a sound engineer that we use occasionally. But to be honest with you, most of the person who understands his PA system now is the guy who runs it.
Yeah.
We found that. I mean, once upon a time, you used to just get people on there. But the equipment is so much better now.
Yeah. Well, like Colin's just saying, I'm quite surprised by that. I mean, you saw the headphone monitors, you see them with the Who and Zeps, you didn't normally see. No disrespect to you guys.
The whole ball game is different. You know, the quality of equipment is so much better. I mean, years ago, I used to use 4 4x12 speaker cabinets and 200-watt amps.
Wow.
You know, Gary Giles, who was the original bass player of the Stray, God knows how many amps he had. I mean, it was
Trying
like,
to keep up with
we
it.
used to go on stage, it looked like the Berlin Wall. I mean, AC/DC still do that, and it is a good, it's a great backdrop, I must admit.
Yeah.
And I do miss that because I just use a combo amp now, and that makes it a lot easier for the sound engineer because he can control it more.
Right. Yeah.
I think another thing is a lot of your sound engineers now. They're not hobbyists. They've come through uni. They've come through college. They've learnt their trade.
Yeah.
I just want to
hear for the sound engineers.
And I just want to put a shout out to my mate's daughter, the fabulous Grayson White, my mate, who I've just been touring on my motorbike with. I played with him in the Big Ed, and his daughter's currently doing monitor sound for Jules Holland.
Wow.
On tour, so
you can't match that one up, can you?
Really well,
That's a big shout.
Yeah, it's a good one.
But no, just I didn't have it written down. Just when Colin just mentioned it, I was thinking, actually, keep going to a lot of gigs, and me being me, you get quite critical of, blimey, I wouldn't want to be on that stage. But most even little Roman Sands festivals, Little Brick. I'm only talking small range, but Mike Croft does a lot, who we know.
He does, Mike,
and he's brilliant. It's just, I was astounded, thinking, I want to play now.
Sound quality. We were in Sweden about 2 months ago, and we did a festival there, and I have to say, it was the best live sound I've ever heard.
It's a lovely feeling, though, isn't it? It was when you're on stage and you know it's sounding great.
I mean, I was watching the other bands playing on the other stage there, and
it's incredible, wasn't it?
It was just like the album. It was so clear. There was no. I just can't. In all my years, I've never heard any
sound that earth hum that used to be louder than the band.
Yeah, Scandinavians, they know how to do it.
I mean, I think about back in the 70s, you Stray and you were rocking it out in your early days. PAs were like a piece of armour for bands, weren't they? I'm thinking of Yes. Who did they get their PA off? And it put them in another league, didn't it? They bought it off a travelling American band.
Well, we did the same.
Yeah,
we did
because it was part of. They've got. We used to see people go. You've got to go and see them. They've got a brilliant PA because it was so rare, wasn't it? In them days, it was like. But them days
we played at the. I mean, we used to carry our own system around, and at that time, I think we had a big PA that was built by Laney.
Oh, nice.
At that time, lots of bins and things, and we did a show. I think it was about 1974-75 at the Roundhouse in Chalk Farm.
Lovely.
And UFO were on the bill.
Wow.
Well, we arrived and we thought, where's our PA? Because sometimes, you had two lots of PA systems.
Really?
You used your own gear. And unless you got on very well with the other band, you always use your own stuff, And we got there, and Dave Flockton, who was our sound engineer at the time, I said to him, where's our PA? And he said, they've got a lovely Kelsey Morris 5,000 watt system, and he went into the detail what it was. He said, and they said we can use it because I said we might want to buy it from them.
Clever.
I went, oh, did you? So the long and the short of it was so good that we bought the PA off of UFO, and it was an American system.
Yeah, American.
Because you couldn't really get that funny thing that you couldn't really get that sound. It was like the Amcron Crown amps driving it, and it was just like the Berlin Wall. And then once again, like I get what you say, because in the end, when we weren't gigging, it was extra money coming in because we used to sometimes rent it out to other bands.
Yeah, that's what Yes did as well.
But the irony of it is, the Americans you meet always want to be like the British. And I did the Mid-End Festival in Cannes in France, and I met he was playing with the band Poco at the time, Timothy B. Schmidt, who now with the Eagles. I met him and Gene, forget his flipping name, Gene Parsons, who was the drummer with the Byrds.
Oh, right.
And the Byrds were on the bill, but we were playing with the American Byrds. And it was really funny because at that time, this was the early 70s, we had a WHMP PA.
I remember
we had not one, but two audio masters, mixers
I remember them well,
together. And they had this beautiful American all-tech Lansing system. Sounded great, and of course with the Byrds it was very, very jangly, sounded great. And of course I got chatting to this Gene Parsons, and Tim Schmidt, and we're sitting there. He said, "What PA you got?" I said, "Well, we got a WHMP PA with audio master." "Oh, we want to come. We're coming to England next week, and we're going to buy a Wimmer." I said, "You're going to buy a Wimmer?" They said, "Yeah." I said, "What are you guys?" "Oh, we got this Altec Lansing thing, you know." And I, what
Do you swap?
It sounded great. And I said, "You sure you want?" "Yeah, we want a Wimmer." You know, and they were. It was like Americans wanting to be like Brits, and the Brits wanted to be like the Americans.
Brilliant.
But,
great. Well, there you go.
yeah.
Different opening to the show, but say fair play to our beloved friends, the sound engineers. Perhaps we'll talk about light engineers so they don't feel left out next week. And of course, roadies. That will be a good chat, actually, roadies, because they are for me.
We'll have to get one in.
But yes, good shout. That is a very good shout. Yeah.
Any road managers out there want to come in and have a chat?
Because roadies, like kitmen at football clubs, are the unsung heroes, and they keep it all together. Anyway, let's get to our guest, because he must be thinking, what am I doing here, stuck between these two old geezers writing on about PA desks. Colin, what we'd like to do is give the listener and viewer an idea of your musical tastes and your musical career. First record bought?
Was probably from a bargain rack in a newsagent, and I think it was Dancing in the Moonlight by Thin Lizzy.
Oh, nice.
But I can remember my first pay packet. I went to a shop in Ealing Broadway and I bought Dandy in the Underworld by T-Rex.
Oh, yes.
And Let There Be Rock by AC/DC.
Oh, that's good. Oh, yeah. That's impressive. That's
you
reaching into the top 10 of first record bought. I think was it Pete Lockwood? Was it Axe's Bold as Love, which was quite impressive in one note. It's like, oh, first record. That's a bit naughty, but no, well done. Not the gig that changed your life or inspired you to be a musician. We're going to come on to that. Yeah. Just the first time you experienced like a band in front of you, first gig.
Well, I'm going to set a high bar here.
Oh no!
And my first ever gig was I would have been 15. It was in 1976. I went to see Queen at Hyde Park.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's up with me and Who and Charlton, isn't it?
Yeah. And I can remember they were promoting A Night at the Opera.
Wow.
And they did the Prophet song, and I looked behind me, and the lighting towers, the lighting engineers were throwing frisbees off the lighting tower, so all these flying saucers.
Those were the days.
First time I ever saw someone rolling a cigarette with green tobacco.
Right.
What's that all about?
Yeah. Why does that cigarette not smell like an embassy?
Yeah.
A bit strange. But then it comes, because to give you an example, I've just said I mentioned the Who was my first gig bizarrely at Charlton.
Yeah.
But the gig that really inspired me was Dr. Feelgood, and Dell's was, I believe, Terry Reid at Marquee, I think. But was there a gig, that may have been the one, but was there a gig where you're going, I want to do that?
I might have to come back to you on that. But I can remember
we get the countdown clock?
When I was at school, some friends had a garage band.
Right.
I used to rehearse in their garage. They were called Saturn Probe.
Nice.
It always makes me laugh.
That's a good name.
Saturn Probe. And I used to sit there and it was blues rock, and they did a song called Foxy Woman Blues.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
and that's probably it. That made you want to.
I'm trying to make. I saw someone from school, a photo of him with the drummer out of this band, and I'm trying to make contact at the moment. Right. So that'd be really cool if I can get back into.
So that was the one that you
probably.
Thinking,
I think
I'd
love to do this. Yeah.
Okay. Your best gig. What's the best gig you've played?
I played. Crikey.
We could all mention we're going to come to the worst one after this, so I don't want to come up easy.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, some of the festivals we've done, and I couldn't pinpoint one. Sweden was superb. The whole experience when we went to Sweden a couple of months ago was fantastic. Being looked after. We had our own PA while we was over there. Looked after our every need. We even got a bus from the green room to the stage.
It must be a lovely feeling. It must be a lovely feeling, Dell, to go to another country and people know of your music. That's a big reward, isn't it, for all the work you've done?
It is. Maybe I'm a bit naive still after all these years, but I don't expect it. I don't expect it.
Well, I think that's a good trait.
And a funny story relating to that. We had a great PR lady. She was our personal PA for the
Helena.
The thing. Yeah, Helena.
Helena,
she's lovely lady. And she was organising things, we were getting interviews and things like this stuff. But there was one little bit which I thought was a little bit embarrassing, or it could have been embarrassing. After you've done your show, you have the interview, blah, 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 and then go out to that piece, and there was like a counter. Go there and then sign your fans' autographs. I'm thinking, this is going to be embarrassing. No one will turn up. Anyhow, and I was in the meantime chatting to a roadie, funnily enough.
And to start with, no one did turn up.
No, something else. And all of a sudden, she said, "No, go, be there." And all of a sudden, people started queuing up for autographs, and I go add vinyl for me to sign and things like this.
We didn't realise it was timed. The fans had a time to
get
it.
And they apparently are so well organised out there. It was on their sort of programme they got. If you want to meet the band, you can go there, see Stray between such and such. And all of a sudden, there's all these people here, and like I say, I'm not presumptuous, but there they were. Can you sign this vinyl for me? Can you?
Brilliant.
No, it's great. It's great
because it's enough reward, isn't it, Colin? You've probably done it. As in, most of us really enjoy when we're starting bands up, being popular in your local area. That's lovely. But I was one who really wanted to sort of replicate that by trying to be popular in other towns. With the collective and that, and that was a great feeling. That you were going to derbies and Leicesters and people got to know about you and were coming to see you. You had no idea, but
the other
to go to another level, international.
Well, the other thing is, internationally, a fan's commitment can be sometimes staggering. I mean,
John Gerald.
Well, yeah, but it's him, a young guy called Gerald he flew from Canada to see us.
Wow.
There was another lady flew from Australia because she knew we was on.
He's only in his mid-20s, isn't he?
But I mean, reversely, in 2016, we did a sold-out show at the Borderline in London.
Yes,
and I got the original guys to do a set with me, and because it was something special, it had sold out 3 months in advance, that show, and when we got there on the night, there were people that had flown over from America, from Germany, Canada, all over the place, and he just. And I think, would I do that? Even for would I fly out to another country?
That's the thing, and it must be. I say it must be lovely. I envy you on that. Not jealous. I just think that is we all moan about the PRS don't pay this and Spotify don't pay this and the manager screwed me on this, but now and again. Yeah. You get that lovely reward for your art.
The reaction and the reaction from fans and their commitment is, it can actually. You can actually go as you're a human being. You can actually go from feeling, I don't know if I really fancy doing this tonight. I think I'll stay indoors and have a glass of wine and watch the telly, and then all of a sudden, you get all these people, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely. You've written a piece of music, or you've played a piece of music, and someone's taken the trouble for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of our favourites. This is one rock star you could bring back who sadly passed away.
Freddie
Mercury.
Yeah.
No hesitation. I think. Our producer's nodding, and he likes you. Probably give you a DJ job now. That's it. Right, one gig you could go back in time to see might be the Queen one, because you didn't really take it in. But is there, or you can go right back to James Brown in Harlem or whatever. You can just pick that one gig that you're thinking, I wish I'd been at that gig.
Yeah, I think probably one of Zeppelin's big shows. I did see Zeppelin at Nebworth.
Yeah.
I was on my own. It was all a bit much,
a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, but with the head I've got on now, to have seen them like at Earl's Court or something like that.
They did a famous gig, didn't they, in Boston? I've read the books where they just played for something like 3 hours. The gig then it went on like to 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
they were so happy. They were so happy because they were like a new band, and Boston went party about them. And then they were so happy that Boston was going. They just went on all night. And I'm thinking, wow, that much.
I reckon they must have done 3 hours at Nebworth. It's incredible.
Yeah,
very
good
awesome
band. Right, there's a new little bit we've been doing the last couple of weeks. This week in time, as in little anniversaries. Hey Jude, we did speak about it. We won't get to that.
Yeah.
Was on the David Frost show. Do you remember that, Colin?
Yeah, vaguely.
Vaguely, yeah, same here. But we just said we were talking about. I think it's one of the Beatles' best singles.
I remember it clearly.
Get it. And what we did, I couldn't remember his name. I've got to be honest. On that week, it was Michael Lindsay Hogg, who's a fascinating character, and I don't think he's got a lot of credit. He's got a big reputation, but he was the man who made that video. And like I said on the previous episode, it was so ahead of its time with the multiracial audience and the way it was put on today with a HR department overseeing every move of that video. It was so natural, so brilliant. I've just finished Mal Evans' book, and it was Mal Evans' sort of idea was to push the audience on.
Yeah, was it?
It wasn't scripted. It was all natural. And as soon as they started walking, Michael Lindsay Hogg started waving, going, yeah, get them on, you know. It was all so natural.
Yeah, that was all crowded around Ringo at the end.
Yeah, around Ringo, and the band loved it and all that. Because I think what that video did was the Beatles had become untouchable, weren't they? They were like an otherness. They were other people. They were like Marvel heroes. But that video just made them back to being the four guys in the cavern again. Would you agree on that, Del?
Yeah, it was a bit that. I mean, I said it the other week when we just had that, because we did a Beatles one week. But I said the other week, I still get that strange feeling in my stomach you get with it, and it's that opening, the picture where Paul looks at the camera and just goes, "Hey Jude," and every time it takes me back to watching it in my mum and dad's house.
It's my favourite Beatles single all the time. But he was a genius, Michael Lindsay Hogg. I mean, he was, I don't know what age, I think he was only in his early 20s, and he was producing Ready Steady Go. I mean, that's incredible, isn't it? To think someone in their early 20s was doing Ready Steady Go.
That was game changing then, wasn't it?
And like, the reason you can still watch Ready Steady Go now is the way it was shot. Not the bands, obviously, but it was so avant-garde for the time, which is now, it's still a bit left field. I mean, I think there's a Rolling Stone special, which I understand him and Mick Jagger spent the whole day going through every camera angle. That's Mick Jagger for you. He never left anything to chance. And it was an absolute groundbreaking show. Same with The Who did a special as well, I believe. I'm only doing these from, you probably watched, was Ready Steady Go, that was a big deal, wasn't it? That was Friday, wasn't it? 6 o'clock or something?
I mean, I was a teenager then, and it was exciting. You knew, Ready Steady Go, who's on tonight?
Yeah. Because it reflected culture as well, which was clever. As in the dancing and the mods and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've noted this before. It was, I think, it's in my book, by the way. I'm going to shamelessly plug it again.
There we go. We keep flagging it up.
We're talking of The Who. I can remember when Ready Steady Go finished. I think The Who were one of the last bands on there, and they unusually. I mean, they used to have like big amps and stuff, and they used to smash them, but they didn't. I remember Townsend had a couple of Vox AC30s on the floor. On probably the Friday or it would have been about a week or two afterwards, I went to Macari's in Charing Cross Road, music shop. Myself and my friend Gary, and went into the shop, and as I said to you before, I was fortunate in that as a sort of 15-year-old, I was earning money playing with my brother's group. And my old dad said, "You've got to stick a few quid away, boy," So I've gone down to Macari's. I don't actually think I was thinking about buying an amp at the time, but I walked in there and Mr. Macari standing there, and he said, "Of course, yes, all this equipment here, we just purchased this from Ready Steady Go that closed down." "Oh, really?" "Yes, and there's a couple of Vox AC."
Whoa, that's big, bam.
Pete Townsend, I think, might have used that one, so I bought.
Wow.
I think it was £60, a Vox AC30, and so I was the kid at school who had the Vox AC30. Now, and I got it from them, and I'm hoping it was from Ready Steady Go.
That's a good story. But getting back to Michael, Jumping Jack Flash as well. That video.
Did you do that one?
That was astounding. I remember watching that as a teenager, like 10. Well, I don't know, it must have been 73, 74. Somehow, I think it was on the old Great Whistle test. There's no YouTube or anything, and he's like, "Oh my God, what's this?"
He didn't do the Rock and Roll Circus, did he?
Yes,
he did.
Did the Rock and Roll Circus as well, and then of course he did Let It Be. Stroke Get Back.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, what a track record. Oh, but the two I really want to mention was I think are the first promos ever made. Paperback Writer and Rain, shot at London, some gardens.
Chiswick Park.
Oh, you got it. Well done. You
Chiswick
got me out of
Park.
jail.
Yeah.
But again, just such pioneering. I know they did it out of necessity because they were just one of the first bands to ever be huge all over the world, so therefore they couldn't go on everybody's Top of the Pops or Old Grey Whistle Test, for instance, or bandstands. They had to make a video, so it wasn't like, I've got this idea to make a video, but the way he made it was like, whoa.
It was a video in as much as it was an on-location shot. Because there were others before, from the early 60s, the Animals and all that, who were actually in the studio.
Yeah, doing stuff. They always did it, didn't they? Yeah, brilliant.
And it was in colour.
Yes.
On a black and white telly.
On a black and white telly, yeah. But so you could show them, if MTV's a bit old hat now, but in MTV's heyday, you could have switched to, there's one from the Beatles in, right, and no one would have batted an eyelid. It was that good, as in its composition and a bit left field and a bit risky, but... 1978, bit of a sad one, but Keith Moon died. Do you think Keith Moon could have been in any other band? Can you imagine him in any other band? I can't actually, and I don't mean that because I'm being detrimental about his drumming. Far from it, but it's just like, talk about finding the perfect band.
I think that one is. I can only say it was a little bit like when my band first started up. When we're a different band now, really, but. The Who were much the same as us, from Acton, and they were like four mates.
Four mates as well, yeah.
And especially in the 60s and that, you were like little gangs. Your bands were little gangs, and you want to be in my gang, and you never. I remember it was almost like a childish jealousy if you had the thought that anyone might be going to have a play with somebody else.
You don't do that. No.
And I think there was the element of it's Keith and Pete and Rog and John.
Roger up front, We'll wind them up. Roger will hit them. Yeah.
I can't imagine him being in them. I can't imagine him fitting in with any other band.
No, I can't. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, you could go and guess with people.
He might have wanted to be in Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Because he got close to John Bonham, didn't he? And he suggested the name, didn't he?
He got the name, didn't he? That's not a bad shout. But again, I thought, you're thinking of Bono. But when you think about it, I mean, it's difficult. They were the chemistry on the Who is so fascinating. Do you agree, Colin? That though Keith Moon's input, they're still replicating that input. He wasn't just a drummer in a band. Would you agree?
It always amazes me how you could have such an eclectic drummer with such an eclectic bass player.
Yeah.
And guitarist. I mean, all three of them.
Well, do you not think there was a guitar that Townsend had to do things he probably wouldn't have done because Keith Moon and John Entwistle were just on a different level.
Fighting each other, aren't they? Really?
Someone had to drive it now and again while they were sort of just chaos going on between them.
To me, like Entwistle was the steady one, the rock.
The
other two would play around,
Good, well, stay with us because we're going to be talking about bass guitars any minute now. Last little bit. We've got to say, sad news about Rick Davies, Supertramp.
Yeah.
Just yesterday. Let's say it's this week when you get to listen to it. I really like Supertramp, as in they came a little bit of an ABBA at some point where you had to hide that you liked them. But when they were out, I loved Dreamer and Sound of the Century and that. Would you be fair to say they were sort of like a commercialisation of prog rock, but they got it right?
Yeah, I remember seeing a video of Dreamer and that keyboardy bit in the middle, it was all done on glasses.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about
glasses. That. Incredible.
And I think a lot was owed to Ken Scott, the David Bowie and Beatles producer, because as I understand it, they were being shown the door, Supertramp, before all the hits come. They didn't know what to do with them, record company.
They were very fortunate in they had a big financial backer. They had a lot of money behind them. And, and funnily enough, it might have been the very first gig, or one of the first gigs, they supported Stray.
Oh, right, okay.
We turned up, we were top of the bill, we turned up at this venue in, it was in the Midlands somewhere, Birmingham way. And I already knew John, the sax player, because he used to be in a band called the Alan Bound Set, which had Jess Roden singing, also Robert Palmer was a singer. Mm-hmm. And we'd met him, John, sax player, all around Europe. Of course, we turned up, and funnily enough, one of the first people we see was John. What are you doing here? Oh, it's my new band. Well, we couldn't get our gear on the stage because they had so much equipment on the stage. And it's the first time I'd ever seen, and you'll appreciate it for a drummer, first time I'd ever seen the drum kit with an umbrella over it.
Oh, right.
To contain the sound.
Wow.
And I can't remember exactly what happened, but obviously they had to move some of the stuff around to get our stuff on. But, right from the beginning, I mean, it was obviously very well rehearsed.
Yeah.
High
level.
And it was like it in retrospect, it couldn't really fail because they had everything going for them. They had a lot of money being pushed into it.
Yeah, but I know Ken Scott, I read his book, and he was saying that the record company rang him up and said, I think we're dropping this band, but we just wouldn't mind seeing what you think of them. So he went to the gig, about 4 songs in, he just thought, what are you talking about? These are amazing. And then he took them into our beloved Trident, and the rest is just been The Dreamer and all the great songs. But
and I
that is
Princess
produced by
Diana's favourite band.
Yeah, oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
A couple of ones. Kiss, London Wembley Arena. I was hoping that might have been the gig that you played with Kiss, but you were there a bit earlier. Which is, what you say was their first tour?
1976. It was their first English dates in the country, and I can't remember the name of the album that came out at that time, but it was all. And I had a call from a journalist from the New York Times recently, and he's writing a book on the anniversary of it, funnily enough, which is coming out next year. And we did the shows with them. I thought they were really nice fellas. I've heard some mixed reports about what people say about them, but we got on really well with them. Very nice guys.
We spoke about Bruce Springsteen and the PR that was brought over from America. Just was don't do that in England. And would you fair to say that was a bit like Kiss, really, because they had such a high reputation in the States that when they came to London or the Sheffields, the big places, they're like, well, what are you about then? People were being critical before they'd actually give them a break.
They did and they didn't, because they had, if you like, a cult following. It wasn't commercial. And it might be hard to believe now, but we had such a big following in the 70s. I mentioned the Roundhouse. We'd sold that out. A couple of 2,500 people, and the promoter of the Roundhouse was a guy called John Curd, who ran Straight Music, big promoter at the time. And the story is, he called me up one day. He said, "Oh, you up out in London at all today, tomorrow?" So I said, "Yeah." He said, "I'd like to have a word with you about something." And these stories are very odd, but in retrospect, I swear to you, this is what happened. He called me in the office, sat me down. He said, "We got this band coming over from America." He said, "They put makeup on and they got pyrotechnics and all sorts of stuff." He said, "But I think I'd like to book them." He said, "But I don't know if they're going to pull many people."
All right.
He said, "So if I put Stray on, would you open for them?" And long and short of it, yes, we did. So we did that. The irony of it was that about a year before, bear in mind, 76, I was only about 23, 24 at the time. The irony of it was that we had new managers about 2 years before that. And the music press had criticised us a lot because we used to use pyrotechnics.
Right, yeah.
And we were younger than all the other bands around at the time, and the thing was, they're probably just doing that because they're not great musicians, So we dropped the pyrotechnics which Kiss used. When we bought the album out prior to that, the music press then go, "Well, they're not as good now. They've dropped the pyros." You just can't win.
You can't win.
But anyhow, we did the show with Kiss, or the shows with Kiss, and the rest is history.
Yeah, good band, nice guys. You say. To round off this week, Rolling Stones, number 1. If I
all right.
Get no satisfaction. What a remark! Their greatest single's got to be, it's got to be. And you must both be aware that the myth or the legend behind the song is that Keith Richards sort of woke up in the middle of the night, put his cassette on, picked up his guitar, and basically played a verse and a chorus of Get No Satisfaction. And on the tape, it actually got him going back to sleep and snoring. Yeah, I'd love to have that tape. But the point I want to make on this is that it just proves how times have changed. That record, so he'd written it, I think he wrote it in London, he was saying, but he finished it off in America. Jagger wrote the lyrics in an afternoon by a hotel pool. Done all my research. But the most remarkable bit is they go into a studio, I'm going to try and get this right, May the 10th, and they do one recording session. Didn't work, didn't swing, didn't happen. Then Charlie got the beat right, come up with that, on it. Recorded it on May the 12th. It was out in shops on June the 4th. Unbelievable. Wow. In today's modern world, isn't it? We give record companies, we chew them over a little bit, going, ripped a lot of bands off. But now and again, you got to go, that's what record companies can do. You're not talking just in a local shop here, you're talking a record that went to number one a week later. They got that all around the world, all in jukeboxes which was huge at that time, all around America and on the radio and everything, within three and a half weeks of it being recorded. Beautiful. We
touched on this before, because the other week we talked about it, and I said about A&R men and things like this. What do they do now? I think in those days, particularly 60s and 70s, I think the A&R men, their record labels, were far more keen on working a record and realising we've got to get this out because this is the time for it. I think they had a lot more savvy than they have now. These days it doesn't seem to be, I don't know whether it's because the emphasis isn't so much on buying vinyl and singles, that kind of chart as it was. But I mean, I'd heard stories, like Beatles and people like that, and we said the other week about Beatles albums, other acts wanted to hear what was on the album before it came out because there was going to be a hit single on it. They would cover it. I think it was the Hollies when they did "If I Needed Someone," which was on Help, I think it is. They managed to get that out. They went in and heard the record.
They heard it in the
went
studio.
into the studio, and they were one of the many bands at that time whose record label was so behind them, they would get that out really quick.
To be fair, I mean, we did a gig in Bedford about a month ago, and that's going to be mastered as a live album this weekend.
Wow! Oh, there you go. Times haven't changed too much then. Album. Oh, really?
But it is in-house.
Oh, that'd be good.
It's an in-house production.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. Oh, I look forward to that.
I mean, it can happen, and I think you just emphasised what I mean. I don't think there's the enthusiasm now to actually do it. It's kind of.
I suppose.
We'll leave it another day. But I think we recognise we need to get it out. Now it's going.
Well, I just think there's a lot of more departments. There's a social media department. There's a HR department. Everyone, their press releases and everything, and it just gets delayed. When you think about it, in the world we live in, you could record it today and put it out tomorrow. Really.
Yeah.
As long as you're happy with the mix, you can just.
People do that on online.
But I just thought at that time, no analysing the song, analysing the lyrics. What's the media strategy going to be, and all that. There's just something about the magic.
Get on the phone to EMI and Hayes. Can you print these off?
You've got
Can you print these off by the weekend?
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, we're talking physicalities here. We're not talking digitals. We're talking physical.
There was only
on
the
vinyl
pressing.
You had to print them to get your money. Make them and then sell them and distribute
or drop
them.
someone a few quid to say you'll jump the queue.
Bill Wyman, great bass player. Because here we go. We're going on to the section. Bass players, here we go. And Colin is a brilliant bass player, especially when he picks up his Rickenbacker, which we can talk about. Who's your favourite bass player? I've got loads here.
Oh well, there's too many to
Ones you admire.
John Entwistle.
Yeah.
For technicality, I like the field players like Roger Waters. Geezer Butler out of Sabbath.
Yes.
Not massively technical, but just does what he's needed to do.
Lemmy in there?
Lemmy, yeah, definitely. But more for his attitude than anything. Yeah. I mean, he plays it with aggression, obviously, but he does play it like a rhythm guitar. He's not really a bass player. He plays with a pick, which some people frown on. I don't.
No, I don't actually. No.
But he plays a lot of double stops and chords and stuff, and he does just what's needed for the Motorhead stuff. Technically, one of the first big ones for me was John Deacon out of Queen.
Okay.
I listened to the Queen stuff. I swapped a box of Sky Electrics for four Queen cassettes and a tenner, I think it was.
That's not a bad deal.
First four albums,
both sides.
Yeah, and listening to, because John Deacon, like the bass isn't in your face. But it sits nicely in the mix, and he's a proper musician.
There's a point. Is it a skill? And John Paul Jones, I'm going to bring Dell in after you on this. Actually, the greatest bass players is when you're not hearing them.
They're doing their job.
They're just doing it and making room for others to express themselves.
Yeah.
Do you agree on that?
Well, yeah, I do. I think it's the same with any instrument, though. If listen to the thing is to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, listen to the song and what does it need, because we've all been to venues where you've seen like a guitarist wants to take over. Forget the song, or Keith Moon, the drum set, take over. No, I think it's all about listening to the songs, and I think as you say about Queen, obviously their songs are important, and you couldn't really do like a Chris Squire bass line through that, and I just think it's listening to the song, and that's why. I'll blow your trumpet for you. That's why when I first saw Colin play, when I needed a bass player for the band, I could read him. I thought I saw him with his own band, the Curvy Love Dogs, by the way, local Milton Keynes band, and I just knew that he understood songs, and I write songs, so you don't want someone who's going to just take over. You don't want to, showboat.
And is it a two-headed monster, Colin? Bass, guitars and drums, they're a unit, really, aren't they?
Yeah, totally. I'm really lucky to work with a couple of really good drummers, Carlos in Stray, and I often dep with John Verity, and there's a local guy called Chris Mansbridge, who runs another plug for his business, Rhythm Room Studios.
Okay.
Him and Kev Heckman they teach, and they run in the old school studios as a rehearsal room. Great guys, and Chris he's a very understated drummer, isn't he? But he keeps time. He can be very technical if he wants to be, Plays with another local band, Heart of a Coward. Okay. Completely different severity, Bromham.
Yeah.
Would you put Larry Graham up there with a slap bass? You ever played any slap bass?
Slap bass is something I'd really like to do, and I play about a bit with it. I'm convinced. See these hands here? Tiny little girls' hands.
Oh, right.
And I think you need a lot of meat on your fingers to get that whacking, and I can do a bit of it, but there's a lot of stuff relies on both hands with slapping. You're not just slapping with the right thumb. You're doing stuff, you're damping and tapping with this hand as well. And I really struggle with it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was blessed.
But I'm not one of them guys because I can't do it. I say it's crap.
I get you, man.
I love seeing
there
it.
are so many different variants, isn't it? But I do like slap by a good friend of mine. I think Dylan Jones.
Larry Graham's, the Graham Central Station is one of the best live bands I'd ever seen.
Really?
They just came on stage, and that was funny enough. They had equipment at a heavy metal band.
Yeah, they were.
Loads of it. And they just came on, and Larry Graham just
done it.
Whoa! You get them and went, whoa! Never seen nothing like this before. It was a railway train going out of control. It was fantastic.
It was brilliant, wasn't it? Carol Kay.
There you go.
How many records did she play on?
Yeah, we're talking Carol Kay. What's the name of that? What was the ensemble called?
Well, it was. There were two bass players, Carol Kay and
yeah. What did they call them? The Wrecking Crew.
Yeah,
that's it. Of the Wrecking Crew that played on, I don't know, every song in the '60s and early '70s, I think. But again, sort of understated, just there.
Well, I can't remember if we spoke about this before, but I was talking to somebody else the other day that Carol Kay was a single mum, and she played guitar, and a producer phoned her up and said, "Oh, Carol," said, "our bass player for the sessions ill this evening. Do you play bass?" And she went, "Yeah."
Get the money.
And she went out and borrowed a bass, and the rest is history. I can't remember, and it was quite I don't know if it was River Deep, Mountain High. It was one that had a specific bass line in it. And she just transposed it from being against. She'd never even picked up a bass before. She borrowed a bass. Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, just had the right feel. I mean, I'm right in saying she was on Pet Sounds, aren't I? She was Pet Sounds. The Wrecking Crew did.
Yeah, she did Pet Sounds.
I mean,
yeah.
some of the bass work on that.
Yeah, she did Pet Sounds.
Considering Brian Wilson was a bass player as well, it's like, well, okay, this is different. You know, it's just. Yeah,
she did a lot of those sessions. She did some of the Motown sessions when James Jamerson couldn't do them.
Yeah, that's the other guys.
That's the other bass player. I love them two, and Paul McCartney and Jack Bruce. They're my 4 favourite bass players.
McCartney, yeah. I mean, we all love McCartney, I suppose, because we've been more exposed to McCartney than probably anyone else. And I'm right in thinking, Colin, that he, well, either you or Dell, is that in the later years, McCartney would sort of just plod along, and then it would be the last thing they ever recorded. He'd put the bass on the song, which is really clever.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That reminds me of "Living the Dream," where a song off of our album About Time. It was mostly recorded remotely because of COVID.
Right.
And I put a bass line on it, and just before it was about to come out, Dell said, I don't like that. He didn't say I don't like that bass line. I want a different feel for it. I want it in sort of double time rather than half time that you're doing.
Oh yeah,
and I had to completely change it, and it was really difficult to do. You know.
Well, you're not in the moment.
It was like, and then I had to forget what I was doing, and sometimes playing it live,
you can't
I still go back a little bit to.
You can't always forget.
No. Tina Weymouth.
Yeah, I love Talking Heads. Yeah. Again, someone who plays for the song.
Yeah,
absolutely, and she looks like she's enjoying herself as well. I cannot stick musicians who stand on stage looking miserable.
No,
you're so privileged to be able to do this. Look happy about it.
Yeah,
and something people say to us quite regularly. Never seen a band look so happy on stage.
You still get it, don't you?
Like
I'm not going to mention the bands now. I went to a little festival, and there was a band on there, and I'm just thinking, why aren't you at home watching the Antiques Roadshow? Because you do not want to be doing this gig. I mean, I don't know if they were really concentrating, but they didn't even look at the audience.
Yeah.
And I just thought, blimey, that takes me back, because you used to see quite a few bands like that in the circuits. If you did it, Colin, me and Dell did the cover band circuit in the working men's clubs and that. They just couldn't wait for bingo, couldn't wait for the inbound and then get home. But it's quite a funny thing.
The other thing is, and I've heard other stories about other bands who don't get on or whatever, but we're like a bunch of mates who go out for a laugh, and the funny thing is that we talked about the Sweden show. One of the comments our agent got back from Sweden was, yes, they're a great band, great musicians, really going home well, and they laugh all the time because we're all. We do. Like 5 mates who go out together, and we just happen to enjoy playing the same music, So, and also I think because of how we are on stage, and I'm being my own PR man, I think it becomes slightly infectious,
definitely. Absolutely.
And people kind of buy into it.
Well, that was the thing with the collective, wasn't it? There was 18 of us. We didn't give. Well, we did care. Of course, we cared that there was an audience there, but we were having such a good time because we'd been eating the beers and then funny cigarettes that he mentioned, a few of them, lights, and so we were having a great time on the stage anyway. Cracking looking girls in a band, a couple of good looking blokes, not me, but we were just having a great time. So the audience are going, hey, "This is all right. I'll have some of this," kind of thing. Wasn't really.
Was Kaz in that band? Kaz?
Yes.
Yeah.
She was a good looking girl. She does listen. So yeah. Well, she still is. Sorry, Kaz, threw you in it. I threw you under a bus there. Cover bands. Do you ever play in a covers band?
Yeah. Of course, I'm known locally.
I'm talking about the old working men's clubs and all that.
Well, yeah, for the Curvy Love Dogs. I mean, we used to do that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Good grounding.
The meat raffle and.
And, do you know? I've got to tell. The reason I say one of my favourites. You remember the Top Club? There's a place. There's 2 clubs in this town called Wolverton, proper railway town. Basically, it's like a bit of Manchester in Buckinghamshire, Bletchley. It's in Milton Keynes.
Loading up the fire escape.
And mate, I mean, you used to have to. Normally, you do 2:45s, don't you? But they were so not interested in the band, they only got us. We had to do 2 25s because they wanted bingo. And the bass player, his name was Derek. I won't give any more away there. And I loved him a bit because drummers love bass players love drummers. And he was getting really fed up. Not that we were anything great, but he was just so annoyed to just come off and realise. It was not so much that, as when they said now the bingo, that was the only time the audience sort of clapped. Do you know what I mean? We could do a great rendition of Hotel kind of Proud Mary or something. Hey, that was good, and deadly silence, you know. But the only time you got a reaction was when they said the bingo and everyone getting their bags ready. So he had nothing. But let me finish this story, because if you've played there, you will know. So if you remember, and you remember them, they used to have these great big square boxes, didn't they, with the balls in, and that, where the balls get blew up by a big air fire. Anyway, so the bass players had enough, like 2 sessions, then the interval, and it's right next to him. And unbeknownst for me, he's just leant over, because all it was a bit of wire stopping the ball up. So you know what's coming. He's just gone like that and lifted this thing that stops the balls coming out. I didn't know, none of the band knew. That's what he was like, bass players. They're naughty. And of course the old boy comes out and he says, "Hey, bingo," and he wheels it into the middle of the room, turns it on. All the balls flying. I didn't know. I was going, what? And you've never seen so much blind panic that the bingo wasn't going to happen. I don't think we played our last set because I was so busy picking up all the balls and then repairing it. So Derek, for the sake of all us cover bands, I love you forever. It is in my book, Curly Whirlies, that little story. Talking about bass lines, let's talk famous bass lines, or your favourite bass lines. I've got a few written down here. There was one I forgot about. I'm going to start it. These boots are made for walking. I've forgotten all about that one. Didn't write it down.
Yeah.
Simple, but as soon as you hear that, you sing dum 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 dum.
Feeling Good, it's another one.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Is that Traffic? No?
No, well, Muse covered it. I don't know who done the original. And I'm feeling good.
Okay.
Oh no, that's Nina Simone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Town Called Malice?
Yeah.
Worthy, Bruce Foxton.
Some of the simple
Rickenbacker.
ones. Some of the really simple ones, like Seven Nation Army.
Oh,
Stuff like that, you know.
I've got that
they
one
stick
down.
in people's heads.
Walk on the Wild Side, which you've spoken about before.
We was playing a song the other night, and there's a little improv bit in it, and he started playing Another One Bites the Dust in it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Dun, dun, which is also
It sounds
the
like
Chic
Queen.
one.
Under Pressure and Another One Bites the
Thomas.
Dust.
Yeah.
That's 2. That's most bass players get lucky if they get 1 bass line. Yes, you know, you're a hero, you're a god.
We
But
said
to be fair,
we'd got 2, didn't he?
yeah.
Give me some loving and keep on running.
I sweated blood learning rhythm stick.
Oh, right.
And I couldn't play it on a long scale bass. I can only play it on a short scale bass.
Great player, Norman Montroy.
Yeah.
But once you've learned it, you've got to keep on playing it. Otherwise,
I'll do a few more. I want to come back to Norman Montroy. Peaches, Stranglers.
Yeah, I like the Stranglers.
Stanley Clarke, School Days.
Yeah, don't know so much about Stanley Clarke. He plays a lot of chords, doesn't he? And he used to play medium short scale.
Yeah.
Andy Fraser.
Oh, yeah, top man.
What a band.
Field player.
Yeah.
There's a band that we're
all
talking
right now
about
we're just playing on my car as I arrived. Yeah.
I don't think they get the credit they deserve.
No,
actually. I mean, they were amongst giants. The Who, Zeppelin, Stones were on fire at the time. I know that most of them played, but I just think, what a band, what an English. I call it, I keep saying English, shouldn't say that, a British band, but they're so different to an American type. I like Little Feats or Allman Brothers. They've just got a completely different feel. But he was key to that. Would you agree?
Yeah. Andy went to the school that our original drummer Richie went to in West London, and and he was playing with Alexis Corner when he was 15. I think he was just 17 when All Right Now came out. So whether he was 16 when he was playing All Right Now or whether he was 17, but he was a kid up the road from school from us.
I was playing down at the Old Jaws with the Kirby's, and we played All Right Now, and I've forgotten her name now. Lady used to come to see us, so you know well. Had come with Andy Fraser's sister, I think.
Oh, wow.
And told me.
Pressure.
Yeah. Afterwards, she told me. Thank goodness. Yeah. Wow.
Bill Withers, Lovely Day. Like that one.
Yeah. What about?
Go on, I've got them down here. Let's see if you get it. The Chain, Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, play that quite a bit.
London Calling. Which probably will go under the radar, that one, but he's a bit of it's a great bass note on it. Hit me with your
Ain't No Mountain High Enough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, now that's one. I had to do that as part of a medley, and that took a bit of learning.
Yeah, Norman Montroy, let's talk about him. He was a great bass player. I remember just down the road here, I stupidly put Wilco Johnson on an Easter weekend, but managed to still get a full house.
Was that the Pits?
No, it's called Duke's Wine Bar, which is always the most wrongly named venue ever, because no one ever drank any wine, end of. I don't think we had a bottle of wine in it. It was all buds and late night drinking, 2 o'clock in the morning. But a lovely little sort of glass cavern, if you know what I mean. 150 capacity, little PA. But and I booked my hero, which I spoke about, Wilco Johnson. But I want to get to Norman Roy because Wilco broke a string in one of his songs, in the middle of a song. And he just nodded over to Norman Roy and just went solo. And if you know Dell and Colin well, and there's a few bass players in there, mate, you've never seen anything like it. Yeah. And he just went for it. Not fast or silly, but just on the one. Mr. Brown, on the one. He just on it. And what a remarkable guy. But yeah, you know him, Dell, don't you? You've met him a few times.
He had a band in the 70s called Glencoe.
Oh, right.
And he was like centre stage, singing and playing bass. He looked very different then. He looks like Skeletor now, doesn't he? But no, very different then. And I always remember, his bass playing then stood out. And I can always remember Steve Gadd, who was our original singer in the band, invited Norm over to his house. I think they were both living around that. And he really peed off our then bass player Gary Rice. Yeah, Norm came round the house last night. He went and got his bass, and he sat down and played all the Motown records I had on. And he said he didn't leave till about 5 in the morning.
Wow.
And he said, and he went on about it for ages. How good Norm Roy was.
Oh right, yeah, winding him up.
Yeah. We met him at Margate. We played a gig at Margate a while ago, and I was really excited because I think it was Wilco was on the bill.
Yeah, right.
With Norman playing bass for him. And our drummer Carlos knew that I was a bit of a fan, and he came out to have one of his jazz cigarettes in his van, right? And Carl was going, come on, you can go and get yourself your... And I got all started. I said, no.
You don't want to make your heroes.
He dragged me over, and lovely guy.
He's very quiet. He looks quite menacing, but he's a very quiet.
Yeah, I said when I put him.
But they say never meet your heroes, and I had the same experience with Dave Brock out of Hawkwind, and shouldn't have met him really.
No, I shouldn't. Sometimes you should.
Introduced you to Martin Turner, didn't I? From
yeah, what a lovely guy. Yeah.
Is there a bass player you would book to see? I really like Zach Starkey, and I think if he ever got a new band, I'd probably go and watch it because I just like watching.
Yeah, I've been to see the Blockheads a few times.
I just want to go. I'm literally just going for the bass.
Yeah, it would be normal. Really, yeah.
You like that with guitarists,
because it's accessible as well. You can go and see them at venues where you're not stuck at the back of a massive stadium.
Is there any guitarists like that for you, Del? That you just think. I know when Jeff Beck ever played, Jimmy Page used to be.
Jeff was the man for me.
Yeah, you would really just want to go and see.
Yeah, there is so many good guitar players around these days. Technically, so many good ones. Youngsters coming up. When I was growing up, there's probably you could count the guitars that you wanted to emulate on one hand.
Yeah. I must mention the sort of Cinelli brothers, which I was talking about. I don't know if it's outside. I don't think I mentioned on the show on Saturday. Blue Firebird, isn't it? Your guitar.
Yeah.
He had a blue Firebird. After you talking about
Firebird?
Yeah, and it sounded fantastic. He had a lot of different guitars.
Yeah.
But he brought out one. I thought, that's the blue Firebird. Not your one, obviously, because you got it back. But it was just interesting that. After you've been talking about it, I was thinking, I've never seen one of them. There it was, literally 3 days later, I'm sitting about 6 foot in one. A great band, by the way.
Another band that I'd go to see for the musicians, and they're part of the new wave of the sort of blues thing happening. Zach Short's band.
Oh, okay.
Cracking, they're 3-piece, bit Stevie Ray Vaughan, aren't they?
I like 3-piece bands.
And
I just like them.
Ant Gunnarson's the bass player, and he's a corking bass player. Really is good, and Zach's really good as well, isn't he? Where did we see those? Allfold, was it?
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, what a set.
Okay, right, let's wind it up. I'm getting hot, and I've got things to do. But thank you for joining us, Colin. It was really nice to talk to you. One thing before I go. Please tell me you haven't got a 6-string bass.
I have not got a 6-string.
Thank for that, because I think they are absurdities. If I see a bass player with 6-string bass, just think, go away. Get off my stage. I do not want you on this stage. You've got a six. It's a bit like keyboard players in the 80s. You started wearing them, wanting to be out the front and have a keyboard player.
Oh, yeah.
No, go and sit down. You're a keyboard player. Stay behind the keyboards. Have your woodbine. Have some parallel and play brilliantly.
They used to call them a keytar.
Yeah,
I hate them. It's the Americans really, when it, hey man, look at me,
I've got a couple of 5 strings, and I have been meaning to bring them into the set, but the style of music we play, it's just if you're playing in B, you get a low B with a 5 string. It just doesn't sound right.
I mean, my point is, Dell doesn't play an 8-string guitar. It's 6 strings. Now play
6 is enough.
If you want to do all this,
I've travelled with 6.
I'll tell you what, dreading you saying, I've got 2.
With bass players, I don't know if you ever. Band I really like, not commercially known, but American band, King's X.
Oh.
Doug Pinnick plays bass, and he has got, and he uses sometimes the same as the guy who used to be in Cheap Trick. He's got an 8-string bass.
Oh no!
But
it's like a 4. But it's like an octave on it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But
I'll forgive him.
To balance this up, I've got to say that Roger Ennis is the regular bass player with John Verity, and he plays a 6-string bass. And
he's not listening then.
No, and he can make it sing. He really can. He uses it properly. And he does stuff on that 6 that I can't do on a 4.
I'm joking.
Great bass player.
Joking aside. Well, there you go. We're spoken about bass. Was going to get onto haircuts, funny enough. I literally did have them written down, but as per usual, we will not be talking about haircuts. We'll leave that till one fine day. Thanks to Chris, our producer. And we've even got a brilliant videographer with us today, so we all might look a lot better.
Did you say haircuts?
No.
Can you recommend a local barber?
I can. It's called a Ronson or Gillette 3. It's really easy and it's cheap. Anyway, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. Hopefully we're going to talk to Paul Rivers, get down to some grassroots music. He runs a venue in Milton Keynes, very credible venue, and it'd be nice to chat over him about the plights and the enjoyment of running a small venue. So thanks for listening, and see you later.
Bye for now.